What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, back with another AEW Week in Review. I recap and review everything that happened in the week in AEW, from BTE to AEW Dark to AEW Dynamite. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. So we did have a very big episode of Dark this week, 12 matches. It was almost 2 hours. So I'm going to try to get through everything as quickly as possible because, one, I also got to do my WWE Week in Review, and it's hot in my apartment, and if I keep the AC on, you won't be able to hear me. Alright, so we're going to go straight into BTE, the episode you asking us out for a beer, which will come into play later, as always. So we start out, best friends and Cassidy have a board of ways to kill Brandon. Brandon walks in. He sees, oh, you're trying to kill me. They're like, no, it's for another Brandon. They write the name. It's still Brandon. They do a smoke bomb exit, and by smoke bomb, they just kind of run away, and then Cassidy kind of just gets in the fetal position, hoping that no one sees him. From last week, we saw John Silver getting, Alex Reynolds and John Silver. Yep, John Silver getting beat up with papers last week by Brody Lee, so we find him unconscious with papers in his mouth. Another speaking Spanglish segment with the Tiki Tiki. They bring in Jake Hager for this one. He gets a call from his wife not to say anything mean, and then Dasha beats him up because Dasha is sent by his wife. We get Colt once again trying to talk to Kenny, as always. This time he's stopped by Nakazawa. Colt tries to speak Japanese. Nakazawa says you don't have to. He speaks English. Colt thinks he understands Japanese, but then he says, no, I'm just speaking English. He goes, yeah, that makes more sense. So he says he'll say hi to Kenny for Colt. He goes in there, and Kenny just says, as long as it's just you, we'll hang out and whatever. He doesn't mention Colt. We see backstage Cutler's pissed at Avalon and Bates for using the books in their last match, cheating. Avalon wants to win by any means necessary. Cutler goes on a rant about how they want to win and how it'd be that much sweeter once they do it, for the right reasons. I do think this needs to get played up more on Dynamite. I think that would be fun. And eventually, I saw this as the two of them, as a tag team. I really thought it was going to end up with a match between the two of them for whoever gets the first win, but, we'll see how they end up going with this. Big Money Matt, he confronts Kaz. He's looking for the Lake of Reincarnation, still with the what do you call it, the accent. He then says it's $500. So then Kaz keeps trying to, lowball him, and Matt keeps giving him water that he says is from the Lake of Reincarnation, but it's actually just different kinds of liquor, tequila and vodka. It finally, eventually Kaz does pay up the full amount, gets the water, and then he does the do ya spot, so he's back, or at least we think he is. Big Money Matt is then hyping up Private Party. They think he's kind of a dick. They don't believe it's Matt Jackson holding the light. They think, it's just another production assistant. He then pulls down the mask and says, I'm dead ass. They keep going with that segment now. We get the Nick Cam filming at midnight of I believe, Dark, and it's the Cutler and Avalon match. We then get a Cutler cam for the Falls Count Anywhere match from Dynamite. We see Matt talking on his cell. There's some funny internet searches, something about the Good Brothers, why they chose Impact, something about the Four Horsemen. You couldn't really tell. I couldn't get a good real screenshot of it. Starts talking about the demo numbers again, how they're doing, and he does another one of those spots. The segment's, another 50 plus seconds for 50 plus, so trying to get the older demographic. He's using pastel crayons while his kids are pestering him. It was actually a decent drawing, though. I don't know if it really was him, but if it was, it looked pretty good. We then get Brody Lee, says there are 6 members of the Dark Order, 3 are doing a great job, and 3 are keep fucking up. Silver, Reynolds, and Uno are in the doghouse, obviously. Uno is responsible for them and losing Jungle Boy and Hangman. Silver starts crying. Griff Garrison apparently is just in the background, just hanging out. Brody gets them to kick him out. Brody hits Uno, but Uno has a helmet on this time. Brody makes him take off the helmet and hits him again and asks him if anyone has any questions. Hangman's in the locker room by himself. He finds FTR leaving, thanks him for the help with Dark Order, and then Hangman asks them to go out to the hotel bar. Says, are you asking us out for a beer? So we obviously see on Dynamite there are some more, I guess there's more to this FTR and Hangman getting together than we thought. It's starting to come to a head. We going to see what ends up happening with a potential split with Kenny finally. So that was BTE. A couple of significant things happened there. As far as matches, there are no matches on this. But I do like that they're putting over the Dark Order like this. It is a little bit of a contrast to see Dark Order on Dynamite being more, culty, even though he doesn't like the word, than as opposed to more of a comedic angle. So we then get a supersized edition of Dark, and we're trying to run through these matches as quickly as possible. So we start off with a great match: Cutler and Avalon versus FTR. Cutler and Avalon are now called the Initiative. The Bucks are in the crowd. Tully's watching. Let's see who else is there. So eventually, I'll just go right to it. Dax throws Leva Books into the stands. She rips it up. They throw it up. So she's very upset about that. We get a split-legged moonsault. Cass breaks up the pin. They end up doing the Mind Breaker Spike Pile Driver on Avalon for the win. Tully likes what he sees. FTR shakes the Bucks' hands. Cash calling out for Hangman. He goes, "Where's Hangman? Where's Hangman?" And then he leaves. They leave together in their car. We get Pineapple Pete and Nakazawa versus Janela and Kiss. There's a Kiss My Sass. Joey grabs the oil and puts it on Kiss on his ass. It was a little ridiculous. Pineapple Pete, a little creative move, slides off the back of Nakazawa into a spear in the corner. I thought that was pretty cool. DVD on Pineapple Pete, and then a suicide dive onto Nakazawa. Nakazawa goes for the thong claw, but he ends up hitting Pineapple Pete with it. Then we get the split leg drop for by Kiss for the win. So they continue their winning ways. Aside from that loss from Dark Order, I think they are they haven't lost. Abaddon versus Skylar Moore. I think this is the first time we've seen Abaddon since her match with Anna Jay. So we go. I did think that here. So in this match, Moore tries to run, ends up getting caught, and throws Abaddon into the barricade. There's a kind of a gory special neck breaker by Abaddon for the win. I did think Moore got a little more offense in than I would have cared to see. I think Abaddon needs to be kind of booked like a monster at this point. We get a Spears video package of why he's using the glove. He says, "Your world is safe, his isn't," all in the idea of self-defense. We then get Dark Order of Grayson and Uno versus Shawn Dean and Will Hobbs. This is kind of a prelude to their tag team title match that would happen the next day on Dynamite. They double team Dean, standing STO on Dean by Grayson for a 2 count. A Tope Con Hero by Dean onto Grayson. Grayson probably saved his life because he looked like he was going to just land right on his head. Grayson was able to catch him and hold him and kind of cradle him down as best as possible. They get a hot tag to Hobbs. Nightfall eventually on Hobbs by Grayson. That's his kind of burning hammer, his burning hammer move. Sorry about that. And then they hit the fatality on Dean for the win. We then get Scorpio Sky versus Corey Hollis. Eventually, there's a cradle suplex by Sky, countered into a Stun Dog Millionaire by Hollis. But eventually, Scorpio Sky does get the TKO for the win, continuing his winning ways, his singles push. We haven't seen them a lot together, so we'll see what ends up happening there. I do hope that they really start to push Scorpio Sky in the singles area more on Dynamite than just Dark. But I do think they should take their time with it because right now it's where are you going to put him? You don't want to give him a title match because he's going to lose it because he's not ready for that. Or unless they want to give him the TNT title, but I don't know what their plans are for that. It seems like they want to. Now that we'll find out a certain somebody is challenging Moxley. There's a couple of people now that could be in line to take that TNT title off Cody. Penelope Ford versus Kenzie Page. Camel clutch by Ford with fish hooks. Fireman's carry gutbuster by Ford. A stunner by Ford, and then goes for this botch springboard cutter, but pulls. But Ford, what I actually liked about this was, it was definitely a botch. She did not. Paige was too far back, so it didn't catch her all the way. So instead of just pinning them, as I assumed that was what the finish was supposed to be, Ford gets up and then does the fisherman suplex for the win to kind of save it because I appreciate that, because there are a lot of times when people, there are botches, and they just, because it's like, oh, that's the script, we got to go for it, and just, end the match, and it just looks stupid. She said, no, that wasn't my move. That didn't look good enough. I'm going to do my other finishing move for the win. I like that. Wardlow versus Aaron Solo. No MJF. Wardlow's just dominating. End of the night, drop knee lift for the knockout win, and then does an F10 2 times after the bell. Basically just drops him into his knee, which I think is just brutal. We then get Best Friends versus Dark Order of Reynolds and Silver, the spooky perverts who try to get Trent's mom. Dark Order attacks before the bell. We get a soul food half and half combo on Reynolds. The hug spot, strong zero stop by Silver. A stunner German suplex combo on Trent. Gorilla press cutter combo on Trent, broken up by Chuck. I really liked the offense that Reynolds and Silver do. I mean, they've obviously been considered, kind of jobber tag team, whatever, but I do like their moveset, and I think they've been really great on BT. I love their chemistry, and they're just, they're really, embracing the kind of Dark Order, but kind of the more gimmicky part of it. So they've been pretty funny. We get a desperation back body driver by Trent, hot tag to Chuck, Falcon Arrow on Silver for a 2 count, release German from the top by Trent on Reynolds, and then eventually Chuck hits the Awful Waffle on Silver for the win. First off, best name ever. Second, such a cool move. Dark Order tries to attack, but Best Friends get out of the ring in time. We then get Lance Archer versus Frankie Thomas. Archer carries out a jobber by his belt to the ring, which I thought was hysterical, and then just tosses him onto the ramp. Eventually, he hits the toss choke slam on the outside. Archer then punches someone in the audience. Another huge choke slam, and then the claw into the mat for the win. Another just domination by Lance Archer. We then get Orange Cassidy versus Serpentico. Cassidy takes off the sleeve, goes for the Superman punch. Serpentico goes to the outside. Super kick and short DDT on Cassidy for 2 counts. Suicide dive by Cassidy. Suplex by Serpentico, and then does the roll through stomp. Cassidy counters for that pinning combination for the win. But Serpentico tries to go after him, but catches a Superman punch by Orange Cassidy. We then get Sammy Guevara versus Fuego del Sol. Del Sol flipped over the top rope to the outside. Middle rope moonsault by Del Sol, a flatliner, and then tornado, but he misses that one. The running knee, and then the GTH by Sammy for the win. Sammy then goes after Lowrider with a GTH, his Del Sol's tag team partner. So Sammy is back, looking good. Private Party backstage promo. A Big Money Matt shows up. The more over for them, the more over he stays. They need to win by any means necessary. I don't know if this was the exact same one that they just repackaged from BTE, or if it was pretty much the same. Either way, they think that Big Money Matt is a dick, which makes sense. Okay, so we get a triple threat tag team. This was the main event, which is a really good match, obviously, with all established tag teams: SCU, Santana Ortiz, and Private Party. Ortiz stays on the outside. Ortiz with the blind tag, and which I realized that they're going with the WWE method of just 2 people in the ring, which I didn't like. I don't know why they weren't doing the triple threat style that they've done in the past, where all the members are in the ring. Santana working over Kaz. We get Quen not wearing coattails for once, kind of not wearing the jacket. So I don't know if that's a new thing, or if it was just a one-time thing. I think it's better. The coattails can be a little weird and distracting. We get a double team on Christopher Daniels, and then Cassidy breaks up the pin. Christopher Daniels has a hot tag to Quen because he had nobody else to tag. Springboard frog splash to Ortiz. We get the silly string on Ortiz. Kaz breaks up the pin. What is this? P-lash. Leg drop combo. Santana pulls the ref out. Splash, leg drop combo. Santana pulls the ref out. There's a Blue Thunder Bomb by CD on Santana. Suplex dropped into a stunner by Ortiz on Christopher Daniels. We get a springboard DDT by Kaz. And then outside into the ring, flatliner by Cassidy. Ortiz throws the mad ball. What is this? Sorry. Hit something else by accident. Ortiz throws the mad ball to Quen for the ref to see. So the ref grabs it. he gets kicked in the balls, and then a small package for the win. So Santana and Ortiz wins this big triple threat tag team match against former champions and one of the up and coming Private Party who beat the Young Bucks. So obviously Santana and Ortiz need this. I mean, they've been kind of relegated to just kind of gimmick matches and comedy spots at this point with Dark Order. With Inner Circle. So this was good for them. Hopefully they use this as a springboard. And then finally to Dynamite. Let's see here. All right. So we have Tazgo and the Destiny for Excalibur. There are some rumors about videos that surfaced from Excalibur from years ago. I think it's pretty stupid if that is what it is, because he made some racially charged comments. I don't know. I didn't hear it myself, but from what I've heard, he's apologized for that years ago. So I mean, I can't imagine that they would still hold it against him. But I understand, the way things are right now. I don't agree with it, but Inner Circle versus Best Friends, Orange Cassidy and Jurassic Express, big 10-man tag. This was kind of a clusterfuck, pretty much. I mean, there needs to be more reps, on the inside and outside. It almost seems like they just kind of were like, let's just go nuts, have fun, and just do all of our spots, which basically it became just an absolute spot fest. We get a mega hug spot with everyone in the team together. Sammy then comes in, gets the beat down from everyone. We get a DDT German release by Santana Ortiz on Trent on the outside. Hot tag to Luchasaurus, who starts cleaning house. His mask almost comes off at one point, though. That kind of like, him and Hager were going at it, but it was like, he had to keep trying to adjust so that his mask didn't come all the way off. They just, one after another doing their spots. Jericho goes for the bat, but Cassidy stops him. And then Matt Hardy comes out and knocks Sammy off the top rope for Luchasaurus to hit a roundhouse for the win. There's a stare down between them, so obviously they're rekindling that feud that was supposed to happen. Obviously before Sammy's suspension, they were supposed to do something at the Hardy compound, so I don't know if they're still going to do that. We had a Moxley video promo. You leave him alone, he'll leave them alone, but they had to go after his compadre Darby, and he's no punk bitch. I didn't realize that was the case. We get our TNT title match for Cody versus the first ever, appearance by the indie superstar who everyone's been talking about and wanting, Warhorse. There's no distinct advantage to start between the two of them. Suplex by Cody in picture-in-picture. Superplex, I'm sorry, by Cody in picture-in-picture. Cody with the single leg crab, Warhorse to the ropes. Cody with the figure four, Warhorse immediately turns it over. Cody to the ropes to break that up. Warhorse is doing the Danielson stomps. Cody to the outside. Warhorse double stomp to the back off the apron, which I thought was nice. Top rope elbow drop for a very close 2 count by Warhorse. Reverse Alabama slam by Cody for a 2 count. Warhorse is favoring the knee, tries to block a figure four, but Cody gets it with the bridge for the win. Warhorse pushes Cody out of the way as Silver and Reynolds come in to attack him, and then they're about to fight Arn Anderson, who's there. Sorry, that's somebody riding a motorcycle outside. But then all of a sudden, from the back, someone that we've been waiting for to find out what happens with him, Matt Cardona, formerly Zack Ryder, comes out from the back and just absolutely rough riders them both. Looks jacked, more like Jack Ryder. I mean, seriously. I mean, the funny thing is, one, he looks jacked as he should. He looks great. But the other thing is that it just shows the size comparison to people in WWE among everywhere else. Reynolds and Silver are not big guys by any stretch. So, Zack Ryder looks especially big, but just in general, I mean, he just looks absolutely crazy big. So we have Tony talking about All Out on September 5th. Inner Circle comes out. They're pissed off. Jericho says rematch with Orange Cassidy in 2 weeks. Wants $7,000 cash to pay for the jacket that Cassidy destroyed by dropping the orange juice on him. But he says next week he wants to have a debate against Orange Cassidy, who barely ever speaks. Better. And then Santana says the jacket still smells like cat pee. And JR with a funny line is like, "Who wrote that?" So obviously showing, kind of a little bit behind the curtain. Who wrote that? So we get earlier today official contract signing for FTR. They want a tag team specialist. So Arn comes in to look over for them. Khan said on August 12th there'll be a tag team appreciation night. They sign, and Hangman comes in with whiskey to celebrate. The cheap stuff, and he pours himself a little too much. Arn won't drink anymore. We then get our tag team title match of Kenny and Hangman versus the Dark Order. We get a recap of what happened last week with Hangman. Brody and Cole come over to commentary. Tony mentions Anna Jay, but we don't actually see her there. I keep looking for her because I'm like, I've been really interested to see what they do with Anna Jay since they brought her into the Dark Order. Hangman goes after them during Kenny's entrance, so there's a little heat between them. He's like, what are you doing? The Bucks are watching. Kaz is also watching, which I thought was interesting. Cole says he isn't in the Dark Order, he's just hanging out. Katara Crusher standing moonsault combo on Stu Grayson for 2 count. We finally see Anna Jay, and she has kind of like an eyes wide shut mask, and she's just standing behind Brody Lee, not moving, not saying anything. We get Uno tossing Hangman into the post and Kenny into the barricade. Hot tag to Kenny during picture-in-picture. Does a You Can't Escape on Stu for a 2 count. Toss German on Uno. Stu jumps over the corner to the outside, but it's a terrible camera angle because they have that camera, like that GoPro camera on the, on the post. So you see him jump out, but you don't see anything else. Kenny's face during it was actually pretty funny, but they didn't even show like what happened from another camera angle, which I thought that was pretty poor on the production staff there. Tope senton by Uno. Top rope senton by Uno. Toss powerbomb on Kenny. Hangman breaks the count. 415 cannonball combo by Dark Order on for 2 count on Kenny. Snapdragon on Uno. A powerbomb V trigger on Uno for a 2 count. Eventually they hit the last call on Uno for the win. Brody orders Cole to go to the back because he doesn't want him to see. Brody starts berating both of them. Hangman's laughing. The Bucks come down. Dark Order has the numbers. FTR hit Brody with the cooler as everything starts to break down. Brody brings the Dark Order back and he's laughing. So we see kind of celebrations and kind of camaraderie between FTR, the Bucks, and Hangman and Kenny. We get Britt sending notes to Tony. Says something to say about Big Swole. She knows her suspension won't last forever. Swole's obsessed with her, and Swole has to beat an opponent of her choice for a match with Britt. We don't know who that is yet, but we'll see. Obviously, whoever it is, Swole will have to win so that Swole can get eventually her hands on Britt. We get Diamante versus Shida. Apparently, Diamante's fighting for a contract. There was some confusion as to whether this was or wasn't a title match. I never thought it was a title match. We get a video package of Diamante. Shida knee lift while Diamante is draped on the barricade. We got a Casador stunner by Diamante, a Code Red attempt countered by Shida. This was kind of a sloppy match, though. We get a stalling Falcon Arrow only for a 2 count, which I guess they're kind of going away from Shida having the Falcon Arrow as her finisher. Eventually, she hits a huge Shining Wizard though for the win. So then we finally find out what the Deadly Draw rules are going to be for the Women's Tag Team Tournament. So it's going to be a random draw of colors, no appeals for formation of teams, and it's a shot of a trophy, which is a little weird because now it's like, now the Nightmare Sisters are no longer going to be a tag team, or are they going to somehow, choose the same color? I don't understand that, but whatever. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Hopefully they have something interesting because, we need some real kind of like rejuvenation in the women's division. It's, it was stale for a while, then Shida won, and now it's gotten stale again. Now part of that is injuries, between Britt and Chris Statlander, two of the 5, top contenders have been injured. So we get Vicky and Nyla. It doesn't matter who her partner is. She's winning it. Nyla chooses purple, and then Ariane apparently had also chosen purple earlier, and she says she's back from, I don't know who this person is, so I had to do some research. Apparently she was in WWE back in the day, and her claim to fame was trying to pin Naomi while Naomi was on her stomach. That's all I remember. We get a State of the Business by MJF. This was just absolute fire. This was gold. I think this was my favorite segment of the week in AEW. This was awesome. So we get Wardlow knocks on the door of the dressing room. They kind of do a kind of version of Goldberg's entrance. We have enhancement talent kind of walking into the ring. So we get Lee Johnson, some other people. Has a podium set up in the ring that has the Burberry on it. Tells the female enhancement talent to smile. He's like, you look better when you smile, being totally chauvinistic. He's not on 2 weeks in a row because someone doesn't want to be upstaged. So eventually, at first, I thought that this was about Cody. So he talks about Moxley and how he can do whatever he wants because he came from the land of Titans. Negative effects since there's been negative effects since Moxley came around. Too much of spot monkeys. Says Mox is a stone cold cosplayer. Talks about the ratings and calls him Dictator John. Apparently MJF draws more ratings per minute. His talent outweighs his tenure. Challenges Mox at All Out. I mean, this was damn good. It was a little funny because this did sound more like it should be for Cody. Everything, as if Moxley is like kind of like a politicker, and I don't really see that. So even though I think it might have been, not in the right direction, misdirected at who he should be going after, I do find it good that it was just a great promo. It was awesome. It was just spitting hot fire. So we find out next week. We get Cody and Matt Cardona teaming up against the Dark Order. We get MJF update. We get a 12-man, which is going to be a shit show. FTR and Elite versus Dark Order. So, Jericho and Cassidy debate with a special guest moderator. And then we get our main event, Tornado Tag, Mox and Darby versus Cage and Starks. Ooh, excuse me. Darby doesn't come out at first. We then get Taz backstage. He goes, "Where's Darby?" And then Starks, and then he does, a couple of, lines of his own about how they beat up Darby, and he's not there, and he's gonna have to do it on his own. And then they give it to Starks, and Starks just absolutely kills it on the mic. They come out eventually, and then Darby hits a coffin drop off the top of the tunnel to them. Cage catches Darby. Mox hits a suicide dive. Double team on Mox. Now Darby. During picture-in-picture. Cage with the power slam, power bomb combo on both of them, kind of holds them both up and slams them down. We get a Stun Dog Millionaire by Darby on Cage, a cutter on Starks, discus clothesline on Mox by Cage. We get a German release, and then a pile driver by Mox for a 2 count. Super kick by Cage, a double Alabama slam on a trash can, and then Darby breaks the count. Mox saves Darby from a buckle bomb. Paradigm shift coffin drop combo on Cage for a 2 count. Darby grabs a skateboard with tacks on it. No wheels, just tacks. Mox has Cage in an armbar on the outside, kind of like on the apron. And then Darby lands on Starks with the board, scrapes across his back. His back is all bloodied up for the win. This was kind of too quick. For what it was. I mean, the tack spot was brutal. I mean, you see is just gushing blood on Starks' back. He's a trooper, only being here for a short amount of time, getting involved now with the big picture, the title pictures, and then taking a spot like that was pretty rough. But we do find out that Darby will get a title shot next week against Moxley. I believe he's the number 5 contender at the moment. So the two of them just kind of in the ring, kind of jawing at each other, talking about the match for next week. So that'll be interesting. I don't see Darby winning it, but I hope that it's going to be a good match. Okay, so that is Dynamite for the week. As always, I do my match of the week, and there was something a little off on Dynamite in general. It wasn't as as hyped as I normally like it. And some of the matches weren't, as great. So, I mean, my match of the week this week will be the tag team title match. I did think it was really good. I thought, obviously with the backdrop of the Dark Order, Brody Lee, Colt, Anna Jay being there, the backdrop of Kenny and Hangman, the potential split, and the the problems that they're having, and just how good Stu and Uno can be when they're given the time. I did think this was a good match. There were a lot of opportunities for, and then obviously what happened after with all the the shenanigans, which is leading to the 12-man tag for next week. Obviously the Bucks are watching, Kaz was watching. So there are a lot of implications in this match. There were a lot of good spots in this match. 450 Cannonball combo, which I thought was really cool. Obviously, Powerbomb V-Trigger on Uno, which was pretty cool. So that'll be my match of the week. And that is it for AEW, my week in review. I'm still trying to get this lighting because it still looks like it's a little too dark for me. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. My social media is down there. The more you look at these things, the more you let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. Helps me out, lets me know that I'm actually not wasting my time. Maybe I am, I don't know, but I'm kind of just bored. So, as always, be safe, love each other, and bye now. Oh, hello. What's up? Nothing? Nothing, huh? Look back at him. Look back at him. Don't you walk away from me. You son of a bitch. Gotta get a little more creative with these post-credit scenes. Ooh, yeah.